You know that sequential control structure, decision control structure, and loop control structure. These are the three control structures we have already learned. Now, these control structure are necessary as a part of any C program or any C program based application or a project. Likewise, when you want particular part of the loop to be executed repeatedly, you obviously think about the loop control structure. When you want to take a decision, you obviously think about the if-else control structure. There are some situations in while solving some sorts of problems. You just think of, can we provide a kind of a menu for a user? I will repeat what I have already said many times in the past. You as a programmer write program, write code for other programmer or for end user. So you think of, primarily we think of a user, end user, which is going to use your application, which is going to run your program and give some input. Denis Ritchie, as one of the greatest person in computing world, he thought, why not we give some structure, a control structure, by which you can give some menu like feel. We can say feel, menu like feel. And that is possible through the way of switch case control structure. Switch case control structure is a finer version of if control structure. It is a finer. Right? I will show you while writing programs. Let me have a tea. First of all, what is a menu? This is also a menu, right? So this home is a menu, insert is a menu, right? Page layout is a menu. Okay. So on the basis of title, at least you can imagine what submenu might be there, what facilities might be there. Okay. So if you want to insert something, okay, so insert some slide, insert some image, insert some table, something. Okay. So definitely we'll go for the insert and check here. So yes, table is there, picture is there, shapes are there. Okay. So a lot of submenu is there. So this menu actually helps you to navigate, okay, in the application. The question is from where this menu word came from. So definitely menu, I think I don't need to talk too much on the menu because your generation is, you know, what you can say, used to hotel and used to go to the or used to visit to the hotel and restaurant. All right. So when you go to the hotel, rather when you go to the restaurant, what the first you ask for the menu? What is the available over there? So just try to visualize Just try to recall what happens exactly when you go to the restaurant. So when you go to the restaurant, you sit, you take a seat, and to the waiter or to the captain, whoever is it, whoever over there, you ask for a menu card. If it is not there, once you get the menu card, you, you browse through the list of items over there. So menu is basically list of available items. So you browse through the list of available items and particular suppose item, right? And suppose you are going to the restaurant going for the breakfast. There is an item called suppose masala dosa, right? So you and your friend have gone. So you ask for masala dosa, two masala dosas, right? So you give that order to the waiter or a captain. Now waiter notes down that whatever order you have given in the that that is called a KOT. Okay, so he notes down that in a KOT. Okay? That KOT stands for kitchen order transfer, and he will take that chit. He will take that a piece of paper on which he has mentioned your order to the kitchen, okay? And he hands it over to the that whoever is actually in the kitchen. Now, kitchen, the cook present in the kitchen, he sees your that order and accordingly prepares. So if he have given order as a masala dosa, he will prepare masala dosa, two masala dosas. And once that order is ready, it is taken to you and on you put it on your table. That's it. So this is the process how you get the what you have want, what you have ordered. Same is happening here. If you want to insert something, you choose the insert, and if you want to answer table, you select that, you choose here, okay, and you do something here. So table is inserted. So order is created. Order is complete. Right? Likewise, likewise, this process goes. So probably that is the reason no computer industry no imported that word menu from the real life to programming life. Is it possible we can create a menu in the C? Yes, with the switch case. Fine. So switch and case two are keywords at the same time default. So these three are keywords in C. From the first chapter, we I have been adding new keywords okay as we go on. So there were a few keywords in the last chapter that is the storage class. Before that, in the preprocessor directive, there were few keywords. So in this chapter, there are three keywords: switch, case, and continue. Right? If you have learnt already, you must be knowing this. Now this is I don't know whether it is possible, whether it is visible for you to because the font is very small. But while writing program, I will explain everything. As a part of just you know mm, this slide, I have put it over there, not necessary. So I will read. I will just read, and directly we will shift to the live programming code. Right. So there is a keyword switch followed by some integer expression. So that has to be a integer expression. Why I have written integer expression? Float is not allowed, right? Then a pair of curly braces opening and closing, and there will be case, no, number of cases, and each case will be having its own syntax. This is how switch case control can be written. Hmm. We will shift directly to the program. In this, we will just write the simple program. How does it work? Suppose there is a one integer was choice, right? Printf, enter any number, suppose, right? And if the program doesn't have any that much meaning, suppose enter any number multiple of 5, right? Something. Okay. Ampersand choice. If I write if choice is equal to 5, printf, you have enter, right? Something like this. As I told you in the beginning, the program doesn't have any meaning. But we need to understand the basics. That's why we have been no learning C language. Now suppose I run this meaningless program. Enter any number multiple of 5. So suppose I enter 10, it will give the output as you enter 10. You will ask what is the big in that. At least you are getting output what you have entered. That is the first step, what I want to explain you. Right? If I enter suppose 25, you will see you entered 25. At least it is not saying you have entered 5, entered something like that. Right? And I told you this is a finer version of switch case. Right? So instead of this, if I write switch choice, right, followed by brackets, I will write case 5. Right? I will write printf, you have entered 5. Right? We'll do one thing. We have entered, we'll write %t and choice. Right? At least our this thing typing will be reduced. Right? So whatever earlier program what I wrote, this is some finer version, modified version, same program. But the way that is solved there in that program and here, okay, there is a difference. Here facilities are more. You get some facilities here, easier to understand, right? So now, if I run this code, what happens? Okay, something is there. If I run this code, right? If I enter suppose 25, you enter 25. That is what you get. So execution is same. Okay, not execution is same, but uh, the requirement need of a user that is fulfilled here. Okay. Now, one, how does this first of all execute? So when you enter something, okay, that variable contains choice, right? And in the syntax part, I told you that this is always the integer expression, right? So choice now contains whatever you have entered. Suppose you entered 25. So this choice now contains 25. So it checks whether this is 25, no. Whether this is 25, no. Whether this is 25, no. This is whether 25, no. Whether this is 25, yes, it is 25. So this is executed. So this is like, no, this is like the process inside the kitchen. Okay. So to suppose case tea, no. Case coffee, no. Case idli, no. Case vada, no. Case dosa, yes. Dosa. So prepare the dosa. So this is how it is executed. Suppose only 5 items are there in the hotel, and last is masala dosa, right? Now here what happens if suppose I enter 5, the problem is here. It will give you, it is like suppose you have entered tea, you get tea, coffee, idli, masala dosa, everything, right? So it is like this. This should not happen. This should not happen. And that is the reason when I taught you break statement in loops, I use the word, if you can recall, I don't know whether you remember this or not. For break statement, I use the word usually, and for continuous statement, I use the word always. So there was the difference, usually and always. As far as continuous statement is concerned, I said that continuous statement is always associated with if condition. Whereas when I talked about break statement, I said that break statement is usually associated with if condition. Usually. What was the reason at that time? Break statement is a part of switch case where condition is not there. So after each part of that case, we put it here break. So that once any case is satisfied, the break statement will take control outside the switch case block, right? Outside the switch case block. So once I now execute this, now it will work similar to the what how your order is fulfilled in the hotel, right? So suppose I enter 15, you have entered 15. That's it. Why? Because this case is false. This case is false. It goes here. Okay. So you have entered 5, 15 here, right? And break will take control to the outside the switch case block. So this won't be executed. This will be bypassed. So this is how the switch case block is executed. Now, the switch case block is a control structure. So it can be part of, no, it can be a part of loop, right? It can be part of if else. Okay. So these all control structures can be intermixed. That is also possible. We will write a couple of programs so that you understand how it can be, designed, how any program can be designed. Because when you learn data structure in the future, I think data structure must be there as a part of your mm, engineering. But data structure, when you want to add the node, delete the node, right? View the list. Some lot of operations are there. Obviously, menu is there. Hmm? So we'll write the program. We'll develop some applications, small applications. Suppose what we will do, I will write a program which will through which I can cover lot of concepts in one single program. So I will take a program of just calculator, okay, simple calculator, right? So that I can cover a lot of things in one single program. So there would be two numbers, suppose num num1 and num2, right? Obviously there will be some result, so I will declare some variable as result, right? Suppose I give the message enter two numbers, right? Enter %d. Okay, in one single scanf statement, I am taking two numbers, right? I usually avoid this. This time around, I'm doing that. Right? This, right? Now here, I will print the menu first of all, because user has to be told, like you go to the restaurant, then there must be a menu card. So it is kind of a presentation, right? So first of all, I have to know, enter one, right, for addition. You must have written this, I think so. So enter two for subtraction, right? For application, right? Enter three was four division, something like this. The menu, right? So take that to write to declare some variable in suppose operation, right? So right here, can I, right? Same D. User will choose something. It will be stored in the variable operation. That's it, right? At the switch, it send contents of operation inside the switch case block, and right here, the same fashion, case one, which is users chooses one, I have to add those numbers. I will write the result is equals num1 plus num2. Right? And break. That's it. Right? We'll read keys to result equals num1 minus case 3 result equals num1 into num2. What break here, right? Case 4, with case 4, yes. Case 4 result equals num1 divided by num2. And here I print the result outside the switch case block. It is up to you how to design the code. Right? Resultant means whatever operation you chose, the resultant of that operation is this value. This is how it is going to be printed. So user will ask for entering two numbers. So we suppose enters 10 and 5. Sorry, 10 and 5. So this is menu in front of a user. Like menu is there in front of you on the table. So enter 1 for addition, 2 for subtraction, 3 for multiplication, 4 for division. Suppose I enter 3, it will give you result of operation is 40. Is that true? Please know. Num1 into num2. Is there something wrong? Num1 and num2. Okay, here num1 and num1 is there. Right? Very difficult to find the what? Whatever you have written, difficult to find the bug. Okay? It was a very small bug. A lot of time might be wasted in that. Right? So suppose I enter 3, resultant of operation is 50. Now, first of all, when you run this code, 12 and 3 suppose. Okay? When you run this code, this menu can be designed in a better way because enter is there, right? So at least that much we can avoid because it is after all a, how you write the printf statement and how you use those format specifiers and everything. Right? Sometimes in the I will show you how to move the cursor wherever you want. That is also possible. I will show you that. Right? At least enter and 1 for addition, 2 for subtraction. This is good. Okay, looks good. Hmm? Sometimes this is also good idea. Choose your option. Right? And it is written. I am showing you various ways right? What happened? Okay. So enter two numbers, 55 and 9. So it gives you one for addition, two for subtraction. So there is no enter kind of mechanism. At the end, there is one, you can say, prompt. Choose your option. Okay. So implicitly tells you that choose option from whatever available in the list above. Okay. Right. So these are various ways. Hmm? It may happen that somebody tells you A for addition, X for subtraction, M for multiplication, and D for division. It may happen. Now here character is to be taken as an input. I want to teach you something important. Okay, just thought crossed my mind. Okay. A for addition, S for character summation, right? So you need to, this has to be declared as char, right? Be a character. Hmm? And because we are going to enter a character to choose an option, the format specifier, obviously, because you are going to store that no option inside the variable operations, it has to be a character. At the same time, you need to make changes here. It should not be case now, it should be case A, right? Case S, right? Likewise you have to write, but this case A is wrong because A, it doesn't know, because contents of operation must be, will be compared along with this constant. And I told you that whatever you write ahead of case, that must be a constant. Now here A is not a constant. Okay. So how you will make that as a constant? You have to write that A inside a pair of single quotes, right? That is very important. It has to be inside a pair of single quote, right? So enter two numbers. Suppose 56 and 6. The problem is that it didn't wait for user input, because as soon as you enter choose your option, it didn't wait. Okay. The resultant of operation is 78. So what happens? 78. 78 is a garbage value. Okay. 78 is a garbage value. What happens here is that suppose I leave one blank space here. Okay. There are other ways to handle this. This is a raw method. Okay. Raw method of handling the user input. Okay. Suppose I enter 45 and 9. When I press the enter key, it will wait for user option, user input. In the earlier program, it didn't wait for user input. It goes ahead. Okay. So if I suppose S, it will subtract 9 from 45, it will give you answer 36. That is what we want, right? So what is this? blank space. Let's try to understand that. The white screen is shared along with you. Right? Just try to understand this process. What happens? Basically, we need to know how the user input is there. Hmm? What happens? Each device has got buffer memory. Huh? Now what is happening? There is a message. What is the message? Enter number. Right? Enter two numbers. From our program, there is a message. Enter two numbers. Right? Then there are two one scanf statements and two user input. Right? So there is a statement called scanf %d %d and num1 and num2. Right? This is how it has been written. Right? Rather, this has been written inside a printf statement, but I'm not writing that printf statement. Right? Now, on the screen, where is that screen? Somewhere on the screen. This is your screen. Right? This message is there. Huh? Two numbers. Right? On the screen, there is a message. Now, this scanf function is executed. As far as scanf function is executed, there are two variables. Okay. So there is a one variable, there is another variable, and there is one more variable. Now, this is basically a num1. This is basically num2. This is the num2. And there is a variable so what is that variable? Operation or T. There is a variable called operation which you want to perform. This is a character variable. As of now, this is a character variable. Now, how does this happen? When when you enter something, okay, suppose you want to make addition of 10 and 5, you will, what is your this thing, uh, what is your sequence? Your sequence will be 10, sorry, your sequence will be 10, right? Then you will press enter key. Okay, you will press 10, then enter, then you will enter 5, right? Enter, right? And then you will want to press capital. What is that? What is the option for addition? It has asked for capital A. So this and again enter, right? These many keys you will press. Okay. So you will enter 10, right? So you will enter 10. Then you press the enter key. Then you will enter 5. You will press the enter key because enter key is must every time. Without that, the contents won't be stored in the variable. So if you want to add two numbers 10 and 5, okay, what is your what how user is going to interact? He will enter 10, right? He will enter 10, then press the enter key, then 5, then again enter key, because enter key is required. Okay. Any data you have entered, it will be stored in a variable only after you press the enter key. Right? So you'll enter 5 and then press enter key. So likewise. Okay. So when you press enter, the 10 will be stored here. Sorry. Mm, when you when you enter 10 and press the enter key, the 10 will be stored here, right? When you enter when you enter 5 and press the enter key, 5 will be stored, right? So after that, there should be a message. There should be a message. What message should be here? Enter option, right? Now what happens? What happens when you press this enter key? This, okay. When you press enter this time, in pressing enter key itself is a character, right? It is shown by this. I mean, diagrammatically, it is shown as this. This is the enter key, right? Now, this enter key itself, since it is a character, because how keyboard characters are stored, keyboard has got its own buffer memory. So this is suppose memory of keyboard. Okay, it is a queue. Okay, so when you enter elements, the 10 will be here, right? Then there is the enter key. I am showing you buffer or a memory. Okay, memory of any keyboard, mouse, we call it is a buffer. Okay, so this buffer contains 10, then enter key. Whatever you do, it will be stored in the buffer, right? Then there will be 5, right? Then again there will be enter key, and then again you want to enter something like capital A, and again there will be enter key. So this is how you will handle the user input. Okay, user input will be in this fashion 10. Okay, for time being we are taking 10, 10 enter key, 5 enter key, A enter key. That's it. Now what happens when you enter the 10? Okay, this 10 won't be stored in the num1 until you press the enter key. Okay, so this 10 will be stored when you press the enter key. Okay, so when you press the enter key, this, okay, this 10 will be stored here. That's it, right? As far as 5 is concerned, and since it is an integer, it works. There is no problem. When you enter again, when you enter 5, okay, where to send this? Okay, scanf function is there. So this will be stored when it sees the enter key in the queue. So 5 will be stored here, right? That means storage process stops when it sees the enter key because there is no time lag between you enter the data. Okay, you do it very fast. Okay, and there is a buffer. Even though you do not do it fast, buffer is maintained inside the machine. What happens? This file is stored here. Okay, and enter key is inside the buffer memory. Okay, so at this juncture, this is like this. The memory picture of memory is like this. So what happens? The program feels that this is a character which is, because it is a character, this is the character which is to be stored in the character variable. So that is stored here. Here. So enter key is stored here. Right? Enter key is stored over there. That's why the scanf function doesn't wait for user input because that is fulfilled. Okay, some key is there, some key was there that was stored. That happens actually when you run the code. Okay, I will show you again. Right, right. So what happens here? Just try to understand. I entered 10. Okay, this 10 is yet to be stored. Okay, so buffer memory will be having 10. Okay, and enter key. That's it. So now 10 is stored in the num1. I will enter suppose 5. So 5 will be stored, right, in the num2. But enter key is still there inside the buffer. Okay, that enter key is stored in the variable operation because that is the next scanf function. Okay, after this scanf function, because scanf function is user input. Okay, so this problem doesn't have along with printf statement. The next scanf function, there is a %c. Okay, so enter key you pressed at this point will be stored in the variable operation. Okay, because it feels that okay, it has been sent because that is in the buffer, right? So the moment I hit the enter key, it doesn't wait for user input. The scanf function doesn't wait for user input. Now I told you the raw method put the here one blank space. That is the reason when I taught you scanf function, I specifically told you that never leaves blank space. Never write any character other than format specifiers, right? So, I mean, many students put that /n and everything over there. No, no /n is there, no /t's are there. Only format specifiers. No even blank spaces, right? So, what does the blank space does? Okay, that enter key enter key is lost over there and it waits for next input, okay, character which will be stored in the %c. Okay, how does it work? What happens here? I will show you. How does this take place? When you use the space, okay, in the scanf function for taking character input, there will be 10 here, right? Then there will be enter key, right? Then there will be 5, right? Then there will be enter key, right? There will be blank space, right? And you will enter uh, this is how you will end. Now this is the user input, right? A and enter key. This is the user input. What you are doing here in the scanf function, you are writing like this. You are leaving this one space as a blank, right? Ampersand. You are writing like this. Now this string will be stored in the num1, then enter key there. 5 is stored num2. This enter key is handled. Okay, it is lost. Okay, here in this blank space. That's why this A will be stored here, right? Sorry. This A will be stored. This A will be stored here. Right? Why? Because you are making provision of that uh, accommodating enter key. That is a raw method, but it works fine. Okay. Other method I will teach you. Okay. Other method is use the fflush. Right? Fflush is the library function. Fflush, and to the fflush function there is a file star. Probably you do not know the file handling. That's why usually I do not teach this, but right now I will teach you. Right here, send argument as stdin. Right? What is this stdin? Stdin is whatever is in the buffer memory. Buffer memory of stdin. Stdin is standard input device. Whatever is there in the buffer memory. Okay. What you are telling, whatever is in the buffer memory, this, okay, this is a buffer memory. Flush that. So what will happen when you enter, sorry, when you enter 10, 10 will be stored. So buffer, I mean, in the buffer memory, 10 is not there. Okay. Enter key is not there in the buffer memory. 5 is not there. What is remaining in the buffer memory? One minute. It is not going. Is not there. What remains in the buffer memory is that enter key. Okay. What you are telling the compiler, whatever is there left in the buffer memory, flush that. Flush that. So that enter key remaining in the buffer memory is removed. So that buffer is clear now. Once the buffer is clear, whatever you are going to enter, that capital A, that will be only in the buffer, and it will be stored in the variable operation. That is how this is executed, right? So let's check whether it is executed in that way. Suppose I enter 15, 4. Now that enter key will be flushed. F flush. Okay. Flush. Okay. We use the word in no flush that water or like that, right? Flush it. Now it is waiting for user input. Why? Because the enter key has been flushed out. Nothing is in the buffer. Okay, so whatever you enter now, it will go inside the buffer and that will be stored in the variable operation as soon as you press the enter key. So if I enter suppose S, okay, that S will be stored in the operation variable. That's it. The resultant of operation is 11. Got this? So this is how we use the F flush. All right. So we will stop here. Okay. I think 15-20 minutes more is required to explain you some more features, and then we'll move on to the function chapter tomorrow. Right?